Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 1st, 2023. Whoa. Keep forgetting. At approximately 4:27 p.m. PST. Now, I returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everyone. Now, I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life that I talk about are the exact same philosophies I live my life by. With this in mind, I only follow 3 laws. They are the karmic laws. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, before you worry about that too much, just consider the different laws that you follow, whether they are religious, societal, legal, family, support group, doesn't matter. Compare them to the laws that I've just listed, and I do believe you'll find that every one of them fit inside the 3 that I just laid out. Now, before I go any further, we have Adam coming through the door with the gold. Steph, you are in with the silver. And then we have Eternity making it in with the bronze, and Brown Dwarf is coming in with honorable mention. Now, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Today, we're going to look at subquantum psychocellular kinesis, also known as self-induced accelerated healing. Now, can I prove it works? Well, that's the fun part. I don't have to. I can tell you that there have been remarkable changes happening to me. And Henry, how we doing? Just getting through the door here. Now, I will tell you this. Everything I talk about myself doing, you yourself can learn how to do. Now, understand, when we are talking about healing, I am talking about doing this in conjunction with whatever healing modalities you're using. Whether we are talking about modern medicine, modern medication, naturopathic approaches, so-called New Age approaches, which, by the way, the New Age approaches are so much older than the modern ones and so much more effective in most situations. Now, somewhere locked inside your cell structure, inside the triple helix, which is the backbone of how you're put together, is the blueprint of a perfectly healthy body. Now, quite frankly, the only 2 areas I haven't managed to override yet, at least not effectively, and we're still working on them because all things do not heal at the same speed, in case you hadn't figured it out. Now, we could talk about this being false hope, but here's the funny part about it. When your mind can conceive it and your heart can believe it, you can achieve it. I am living proof that most of what people have said is incurable isn't. And what I mean by this is we start off with being diagnosed mentally retarded. Well, actually, we start off with being dead. Then we go to being diagnosed mentally retarded, broken beyond recognition. Hey Nathan, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I see. If we look at it, I can go back through the whole thing, but I've done a lot of them in the past. The important factor from your standpoint is realizing that if I can pull it off, so can you. I'm even going to give you the tools to pull it off, given that you're doing it for the right reason. Because I will tell you this. If you're aiming at healing, if you're aiming at putting your life back together for somebody else, because somebody else said, you have to change this behavior or you're going to die. Well, I'm going to cure part of that right off the bat. You're all going to die. I've done it. Most of you haven't, not this lifetime. I've done it 9 times has been confirmed, and the 10th one I'm not entirely certain of. Okay, now I'm certain one day I will die for the final run. Okay, but I came to the conclusion, if you're going to listen to the doctors, absolutely do. If you don't know how to go around the thing, okay, listening to modern doctors and doing what they say, the theory is they've got more knowledge than you do. The reality is they've got more knowledge than I do. I just happen to have a stubborn streak and a healing rate that's just insane. Okay, now the first things first. Okay, when we are talking about psychocellular kinesis, aka mind over body, we are talking about accessing the healing capacity of your own cell structure. You got to remember, you started off theoretically with one cell, with one small active cell. Okay, technically it was 2 cells combining, and all of a sudden we've got the whole birds and the bees thing, and you guys can go and research that. Okay, but you start off with 1, and it rapidly progresses into trillions. Each one of those cells has the blueprint for a perfectly healthy, I hate the hiccups, for a perfectly healthy body. Okay, now, what do you do with that? Well, first of all, if you take your hands, put them palms towards each other, about a quarter inch, and notice you can see between my hands. Okay, you put your hands a quarter inch to a half an inch apart, maybe an inch. I don't know. I'm not good with the distance. But you put them close together without touching. Concentrate on the energy between them, and you will feel something. Now, I've heard it described as heat, as pressure, as pulsing. I've heard some people call it, they see light between the hands. One person in particular said it felt like bubbles. Now, the thing with that energy is we are talking, that is your biomagnetic flux. That is the energy we are talking about tapping into to accelerate the healing in your body and reprogram the cells to regenerate. Now, let's eliminate a couple of things I was told. Okay, I was told first and foremost, as you get older, your body breaks down. I was told you cannot heal nerve damage. Okay, that brain damage in a child will heal, but brain damage in an adult pretty much doesn't. Okay, I was also told as I get older, I'm going to get stiffer. You're going to slow down. You're going to, your eyesight will fail. Your mind will go. Your hearing will go. Should we go on? Okay, these are all things that we are constantly bombarded with as we're growing up. Now, let me ask you this. Do you believe all of this is actually real? That you have to get old and that you have to break down as you get older? Okay, Lord knows I totally ignored the instructions I was given. You're going to get old and your eyesight's going to fail. Well, up until 2007, okay, so at this point we're talking 16 years ago, I was virtually colorblind, and if I held my glasses right there, I could not see them. Okay, I could feel them, but I could not see them. Okay, we start there. My eyesight at present, where it comes to reading, is 20/20. You've got the same capacity to heal your eyes. Okay, did I go for surgery? No. Did I go and get somebody to shine a really bright light in my eye and burn away a whole pile of things or peel off the front of my eyes? No. I did one thing. Okay, I read one book. Realistically, I read a book called The Bates Method to Better Eyesight Without Glasses. If I had thought about it, I'd have called the ISBN number because I do actually have the ISBN number for it. Do I know how you'd find it at this point? No. But here's the thing. Okay, the gist of it is this. Your eyes get weaker because you believe they're going to get weaker. Now, mine have not healed as far as I would like. Mind you, I'm not dead yet. Well, not dead again yet. In a nutshell, if you don't work the eyes, your eyes will atrophy. Now, they tell you your eyes are going to get worse. Once they tell you, at least I was told, once you wear glasses, your eyes are going to continue getting worse. So you'll have to continue getting stronger glasses. That's a really encouraging thing to tell somebody whose eyesight is failing. Oh, by the way, your eyes are damaged. We've got to put glasses on so you can actually see things. I'm going to explain to you in about 5 seconds here why that happens. Not that you have to have your eyesight fail, but I will tell you, using glasses where necessary is intelligent, and if not, life-saving. Okay, we take a look at it. You take a look at the way your eyes are. Okay, are you happy with how your eyes are? Yeah, well, that would have gone over well. I was about to say, put your hands up if your eyes are failing and if you're really tired of being, if you will, blind, or at least hard of seeing. Okay, but somehow I can see that not working very well. By the way, before I go any further, if you have questions, regardless of if it's in the same venue that I'm working on or the same topic that I'm discussing, put your questions in all caps in the chat room. Now, the only chat room I watch at this point is the one on YouTube. Okay, now needless to say, if you're watching me, you already know where I am. But you put your questions in all caps so I can actually see them. Okay, otherwise they get lost in the shuffle. Now, the reason your eyes get worse as you get older, especially once you've turned around and started wearing glasses, is this: your eyes naturally adjust. They will automatically adjust to long distance and close as you move your head. Okay, this is just the way they work. However, and what that means is when you move your eyes, not necessarily your head, just when you move your eyes to look around, your eye is changing its location, thereby altering the angle of refraction that the light is coming into your eyeball. Okay, and your eye will continue working and will work at it. We're going to get to some exercises to help you with that. Now, I know there's a couple of you in the chat room right now. They're looking at a whole lot more serious problem that you're interested in healing. Okay, and yes, this is going to sound like I'm really putting myself up there and saying, hey, I know better than the doctors. I don't know Jack. Okay, well, I do. He was a really neat guy. Dumber in a fence post, but really, really nice. Okay, but we won't get into that. That's a side story from back when I lived in the bar. I am not medically trained. I am not scientifically trained. I am life trained. Okay. My eyesight didn't actually collapse due to genetics, so it may well have done so later. My eyesight collapsed due to taking a trailer hitch to the eye. I'll tell you, that really screws up your eyesight. But if you stop, the eye will automatically adjust its shape, okay, to account for incoming light. Problem is, the moment you put these silly things on, and again, if you're wearing glasses, don't throw them away. This is just foolhardy. Okay, I actually have two sets. This set for reading the computer. Okay, like I said, I've got 20/20 eyesight for reading, for reading close at hand, as in for reading a book. Okay, but these glasses are for that mid-range, so I can see what's on my computer. These ones are for when I'm driving. Okay, because I like seeing further than a foot in front of my hood now. Okay, some of the other now I'm looking at eyesight right now, but we are going to talk about weight drop, beating MS, beating arthritis. Okay, beating, and you're going to love this one, beating T-by Alzheimer's and that sort of thing. All of these things you're told, and once they hit, you're hooped. You're going to go on a downhill slide. And if you choose to believe that, knock yourself out. Okay, I'm going to give you the tools to work with. Okay, this is not a question of saying, oh, I know what I've got, and I know how to deal with it. No, by the way, I've got a book that'll tell you everything, so buy my book. Scratch that noise. I will be putting all of this in, I will be putting all of this in different written form, in different written books. Absolutely, I will be. And I will certainly encourage you to pick them up. But as of right now, this is called free. Okay, and if you've got questions I don't get answered here, check below the video. Okay, you'll see a whole list of ways of getting a hold of me. Now, let us see something here. Don't need that up. I am looking for that. This is the easiest email to get a hold of me. Now, I believe it's already listed somewhere, but I'll put it in the chat room anyway. Okay, this here is the easiest way to find it, or to find me. Drop me a line, let me know who you are, where you ran into me, and I will do my level best to give you an answer. Okay, now this is not a question of here's some hokey pokey. I'm not going to give you, what I won't give you is here's a medication you can take for the rest of your life to heal you. Not going to happen. Personally, I don't believe in medication for the most part. Doctor just loves me for that one. But your eyesight isn't working. So you're told wear glasses so you can see, which does work. Okay. But if you don't have to have them on, take them off and put them aside. Okay. If you require, now do understand your eyesight is so bad that you can't see to walk around the house. Wear the glasses. I know this seems like rocket science. Okay. But wear the glasses. When you don't require them at that point, you sit down where you're not moving anywhere, take your glasses, set them somewhere where you can reach them without getting up. Okay. Of course, in all honesty, that probably means a chairside table or a coffee table in front of you. Okay. Then at least you can put your hand, here's the table, and you put your hand out and you feel around until you find your glasses. But you take your glasses off and you do it this way. Okay. You take a book. Now, in this case, I wrote this one. Okay. But you take a book, and let's say you cannot read it. You open it up, and it's that far away. You can't read it. Okay. So you bring it closer until it comes into view. Now, I'll show you something really neat. Okay. Before 2007, okay, if I took a book and I wanted to read it, I would literally hold it this close. Now I go blind, I go cross-eyed doing that. But I used to hold it this close to be able to read it. That doesn't happen anymore. Not because I took some sort of medication or because I got some sort of operation or because I gave all my money to some genius that says, hey, give me all your money and we'll pray for you. That's not going to happen. Okay, I don't call that praying for you. I call that praying on you. But you take a book while you're sitting down, and yes, absolutely get one that's got larger printing. If you have to start out with printing this size, knock yourself out. Okay, but you start off, and all you do is you open it up, you look at it and go, okay, can I read it? If not, bring it closer until you can. Okay. Now, this is not going to be, it's not a guaranteed cure. None of this is. Okay. I will guarantee only one thing, and that is I'm not about to lie to you to make you feel better. Unless you want to give me money and say, hey, please lie to me and make me and help me feel better. I got no problem. I'm writing, I think, 40 books at the same time right now. I'm still varying on the numbers, but I am getting them moved around. You start with that, okay? You start with it as close as you need, as you require. And then as you can read it, you move it further away. and you pause. When you move it a little further away, it'll go out of focus. So you concentrate on what you're looking at. Okay, what you're doing is strengthening the muscle, getting the eye to work. Okay, this is just where I'm starting. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the time, otherwise I'm going to get really sidetracked and we're not going to get to the real critical issues. But this is why I turn around and hand the floor over to you guys. Of the illnesses, diseases you're dealing with, which ones are we dealing with in the chat room right now? And we will make sure we focus on them. Okay, because this applies to literally everything. Okay, I will tell you, it's a real pain in the neck to pull off this idea of doing the healing after you're dead. So how about if we get started on it before you up and die on us? Okay, the other thing is, if the organ in question is no longer there, you're not healing it. Not in all likelihood. Now, regeneration does happen, and it is possible. My father regrew 3 sets of adult teeth before he died. And they tell me that's not possible. I'm telling you, they're actually misleading you. Mind you, in all fairness, most of the people that tell you that these things are not possible honestly don't believe they are. Okay, now, with that in mind, where am I going? Why, pray tell, did that happen? Oh, it happened because I did that to it. There we are. Now, where it comes to eyesight, like I said, your eyes will naturally change. Now, here's what really screws it up. The moment you get glasses, okay, you put the way optics works is the light hits the lens at a specific angle. Okay, and it locks the light coming in at that angle, because light going through a lens is refracted. It changes an exact amount. So once you put the glasses on, you lock the incoming light so your eyes stay in that shape. They stay focused on that point. Okay, now the problem with that is the longer you wear them, the weaker your eyes get. Net result, take your glasses off and all of a sudden everything's fuzzy as heck. Okay, this is why I say take your glasses off as frequently as you can get away with. Now, much as it might be entertaining in some people's eyes for me to keep my glasses off when I go driving, I prefer to live. I've tried a lot of ways of dying, and I'm really not interested in dying in a car crash. I was in a car crash one day where my car was absolutely totaled. I didn't even get whiplash because I knew what I was doing. And because a heel is stupid, right? But as soon as you put that lens in front of you, your eyes lock to that thing, into that angle. Therefore, the muscle, the eyeball, which is a muscle, atrophies. Okay. And this is why your eyesight collapses, because as it atrophies, you require stronger lenses to actually be able to refocus the energy a little. What they don't tell you when they're making the glasses is now what they're going to do is they're going to adjust the exact angle of what the lens is in order to get the light to refract into your eyeball at the same location, which is fantastic. Okay, you've got to give kudos to the eyeglass manufacturers for being able to accommodate this. Now, I will tell you, this doesn't happen overnight. Okay, not usually. Once in a while it will. Okay, but you do that regularly, and sooner or later, okay, your eyesight starts to improve. That's just simply, it's like learning to walk. Okay, you did not, in all likelihood, when you first learned to walk, you didn't do it by getting up and just all of a sudden you're walking 3 miles without a hitch. You first started off by getting up and falling down multiple times. Changing your eyesight is done exactly the same way. Now we're going to take that one step further here. I've talked to you about this idea of meditation. Okay, and what you do with meditation in this case is pick a comfortable position to sit in. Okay, while you are wide awake, because this technique works great. But I will tell you, if you're tired, what it does is it gets you into a real relaxed state, and then you end up falling asleep. Odds are you'll get a great night's sleep, but it won't do much for the healing focus, because you'll frankly lose track of it. But find a comfortable place, and dealing with specifically the eyes, okay, you think of your eyeball. Okay, you focus on your attention to your eyes and to their operating system. And you literally run one word through your head. Heal. That's the only word. You don't have to know what is specifically wrong. All you have to know is that you desire it to work better. Okay. Now, people keep telling me you've got to know what the problem is in order to heal it. Where it comes to your body, you really do not. I'm living proof of this. Okay. One of the classes in high school that I avoided like the plague, and that's a really bad one for me because I actually walked straight into the plague. But that's another lifetime. Okay, but I avoided researching nutrition. Okay, and there's a lot of reasons for it. Nutrition does work. Okay, I'm not the one to talk about which foods are the best for you. I'm a firm believer that if it's digestible, it's organic. Okay, if it's not digestible, if it is inorganic food, or rather not organic, this means it's plastic. And I'm recommending you do not try and eat plastic food. It does not taste good. Lord knows when I was younger, I tried. Bad idea, long story. Okay, I used to chew on a lot of things I shouldn't have. I remember, for those of you that age, okay, there used to be a pen, a blue pen, a normal ink pen, okay, called an Eagle brand pen. Now, I made the mistake of chewing the back off of one. Okay, I still chew pens to this day, but that one, I actually ate the back end of it. This was a just blanket bad idea. The thing blew up in my mouth. Literally, considering the fact that it was blue ink. But you sit there and you focus on your eye and on your eyesight, and you simply concentrate on one word: heal. Okay, your body already knows what is wrong. You do not require anybody, whether it's alien or human, doesn't matter. You don't require anybody to tell you what specifically is wrong. Your body already knows. And your body has a total blueprint for a perfectly healthy body. Now, I was told as you get older, okay, your body will slow down. You'll gain weight. You'll develop arthritis. Your eyesight and your hearing will go, the whole 9 yards. Well, I'm here to tell you, at 59 years old, I'm lighter than I have been in over 15 years. Okay. Like back in 2010, I was 204 pounds. Okay. Then I climbed to 249. I am now, okay, at 195 and dropping, because I decided I didn't like my weight for me, not for anybody else. Okay. But your eyesight, you focus on the word heal, and you'll start to see it change. Now, with this in mind, let's take a look at the other one. Okay. When we start looking at things like MS and, Alzheimer's, this sort of thing, Alzheimer's is a little different than MS. Well, obviously. But when you're dealing with nerve reactions. Now, get this. I'm going to relax focus on my right hand. Now, if I don't focus on my right hand, okay, this is normal. Okay, that's when I don't focus on it. Now, picture trying to do anything with that. Mind over body will control it. Okay. Where it comes to MS. Okay. And I don't even know the diagnosis, the way that whole thing works. I don't know how they figure out whether you've got it or not. How they came to the conclusion, it really doesn't matter from my end, because the healing technique still works the same way. But the catch is, you have to believe it's possible. You yourself have to be aiming to heal it for you. Okay. Not because of something the doctor said, because the doctors will tell you, you've got, at least everyone I spoke to will tell you, you're stuck with this mess. You'll be this way for the rest of your life. They told me this about epilepsy. At 2 years old, the doctors diagnosed me as mentally retarded and epileptic. Now, it's possible they were right about the mental retardation. And I know there's those of you, you shouldn't call somebody mentally retarded because it'll offend them. Guys, retarded means you're thinking whatever you're doing is slower than the average. Okay. What do we got? Hey, how we doing, Shadow? Glad you could join us. So, am I likely going to say something that's going to offend somebody? Probably. I'm frankly betting on it. Okay, because what I have found with most people from any race, is that they are motivated more when they get upset than they are if everything's going tickety-boo. It's not until that heartfelt connection happens. You can think all you desire. I desire to heal. You can think that all you desire, all you choose. But it's not until it hits the heart and the head that people seem to get motivated. Okay, YJ, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I get a kick out of it. Everybody calls it April Fool's Day. What do you do with the May Fools and the June Fools, and for that matter, the September Fools? Rest assured, I've run into fools in every month of the year and in every walk of life. I just love the people that think that I'm going to actually pay attention to what they're talking about when it comes to political correctness. Yeah, that was a bit of a sidetrack, but you'll get used to that if you're just joining me on this stream. You'll get used to the idea that I don't focus a lot on whether I'm being politically correct. But your body, once you get to the point that you go, okay, yes, I'm suffering from MS. The pain is absolutely insane. I've heard people say MS is accompanied by staggering amounts of nerve pain. Okay. Pain is a creation of your body to tell you that your body's not working correctly. MS, like eyesight, like obesity, like Alzheimer's, like arthritis, these are all dis-eases. That's why they call them a disease. It's a dis-ease. Something in your body, something in your mind is not correct, is not connecting properly, or effectively might be a better way of putting it. Okay. If you're suffering from pain, and unfortunately, some of you suffer from staggering amounts of it, depending on what you're dealing with, whether it's arthritis or whether it's pull a complete blank, that worked. Okay. Whether you're looking at MS, it doesn't matter. They all get healed the same way. Okay. If you're suffering from pain, okay, then you have one of two choices. Either enjoy the pain, which I think is a little twisted, but hey, teach their own. You've heard the old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. I'm thinking this is not my bag of tea. I mean, mind you, in all fairness, I remember working on the tables during the Spanish Inquisition. So I did kind of have a lot of fun with the whips and chains, not so much the people I was playing with. Okay. But there we are. Okay, fibromyalgia and myalgia. As far as that goes, YJ, this method works absolutely beautifully for that. Find a quiet place, okay, and sit down comfortably in a comfortable position when you are wide awake. Okay. Now, I have no doubt from everything I've told. Now, from everything I've been told. Now, I'm lucky. Okay, I did not develop arthritis, nor did I develop fibromyalgia or many other things. I don't know. Maybe I am mentally retarded. Either I'm just completely psychotic and just don't recognize it. I was told you'll never, if you're questioning whether you've lost your mind, the answer is no. Because if you're questioning it, if you were losing your mind, you wouldn't be questioning. With fibromyalgia, sit down. The first thing you do after you get into a comfortable position, okay, and like I said, if you're using medication to manage it, absolutely, for pity's sakes, keep using it. If it's working for you, yes, I see it as a crutch. Absolutely, I do. The medication. However, it would be foolhardy for me to say, well, throw the crutch away. Okay, like these are a crutch for eyesight. Okay, but hang on to them if you're using them. With fibromyalgia, you sit down in a comfortable position, you you acknowledge where the pain is. Okay, and just start with one point. Don't look at the whole body. I mean, you look at the whole body, and the odds are, from what I gather, and in your case, YJ, I'm going to ask you to clarify this just directly. Okay, unless I misunderstand, fibromyalgia triggers all of the nerves at the same time. Okay, like all of the pain receptors at the same time. I presume I'm correct in this assessment. Like I said, I don't suffer from it myself. I decided that kind of pain was absolutely kind of pointless. Okay. Oh, absolutely. YJ just going, is this something how brutal humans have been through the centuries? The cruelty in the last 1,000 years might explain narcissism, genetic memory, an epigenetic tendency to want to see others suffer. People have been taught, if I can make you suffer, I'm going to feel better. Well, they forgot to take empaths into consideration. Because I'll tell you, being fully empathic, and I know some of you guys are, okay, the moment you inflict pain on somebody else, not only are you going to feel their pain, but you get the bonus of having the guilt of causing it in the first place. Okay, but you take fibromyalgia, okay, and as far as I understand it, it basically lights up the entire body, the entire nervous system just goes completely, wonky. Do not aim at healing the whole thing all at once. It can be done that way. Okay. Yeah, sadly, most people are actually born with it, Shadow. As a matter of fact, every child I've ever met is born empathic. The reality of it is, though, that as we get older, we get taught to tune it out. Now, let's just take a look at fibro for half a second. Well, probably for a little longer than that. But you take a look, your whole body's lit up, you're just in pain. Absolutely acknowledge the fact it's all there. But now we take a look at one aspect. Let's just look at one finger, just one finger. Okay, because it's way out at the end of the bin. Okay, you start with the nervous system, it runs all the way out to the end of the fingers. You target the outside limits first, but only start with one. Okay, acknowledge the pain, and then literally focus on that point and go heal. Okay, and you'll feel that energy come down the finger, okay, until it hits the hand. Okay, and then you'll feel the hand, and you are doing this one cell at a time. You don't have to visualize every cell. You have, and what is important and what you've got to realize, or what would be wise to realize, is you focus on just that one and feel it one step at a time, working down to the palm. Then you work out and take care of the fingers. So you've got one hand. You target to start with one finger. Then you target one hand where you're not feeling the pain. We are not talking about overriding it and going, oh, I don't feel it, therefore it's not a problem. Absolutely, but that's the funny thing there, YJ. Okay, and all of you. It can have many causes. You don't have to know what the specific cause of yours is. Okay, that's the mistake that's being made. That's the oversight. Okay, you don't have to know what caused it. You have to know that it's there. Okay, once you acknowledge it's there, you can absolutely turn it around and put it back together. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to read this here. YJ's gone, fibro is a syndrome. So it can have different underlying causes for different people. But the pain is only part of it. There is also chronic fatigue, hypersensitivity to outside stimulation. All of these things agreed. The neat part about it is this is why we're starting on one small target point. Okay, because the reality is once you heal the hand and you start working your way down the arm, okay, what you will find, and I know this is certain as I'm sitting here, okay, mind you, I question that on occasion, but that's a long story. Okay, what causes it is the first thing you got to let go of. Realistically, and I'll ask you this one directly, is YJ, okay, you suffer from it. Do you really care specifically what caused it to happen? Does it really matter to you? And would that make the pain any easier to deal with? Okay, because from my experience, when knowing what caused something is only necessary if you're using traditional methods to solve it. And thus far, I don't know about your research, but from everything and everybody I've talked to in the last 20 years, nobody's found a cure for it, which means they're looking in the wrong direction. Given the millions of dollars that are being spent, and I really wonder how a dollar is going to make it easier to think. Doesn't, I mean, having a lot of money does cut down on the stress about having a roof over your head, but it doesn't do a thing for research, frankly. Doesn't make your mind work much better. There we go. Yeah, YJ goes, it's kind of like a volume button on the nervous system, cranked up to 10. And while many things make it worse, it also works in the other direction too. Every small thing you do to help adds up. Hey, Mac, how we doing? Glad you could join us. I'm looking at this situation going, one of the first things that we've got to get straight is you don't have to know the cause. Well, hey, Kimberly, how we doing? The good news, YJ, is we are talking about a way to cure and to actually cure on an individual basis. It's not something that can be mass produced. I can't put it in a bottle. Okay. I will be doing my best to put it into a book, but I cannot put it into a bottle. I'm not about to take a whole pile of garbage fillers to make what is necessary fit in a bottle. Well, there is something to be said about batting zero. At least you're consistent. Okay. Now, this method won't cost you a plug nickel. Okay. And for those of you that don't know what a plug nickel is, go to your electrical box. Okay. And those funny little plugs that are cut out of the electrical box so wires can go through them, Those things are about the size of nickel. There's your plug nickel. Useless piece of information, nothing to do with healing. Okay. Now, with that in mind, you target one part of your body, because when you're going heal, you're not saying make me more energetic. You're not targeting going, I'd like the pain to go away. I'd like to heal faster. I want my coordination better. You're just going heal. If it's messed up, put it back together. Your body has the healing technique. It knows where the problem is. Okay. Yeah, positive thinking, I do agree. Positive thinking helps immensely. The catch is that positive thinking without positive action is kind of like staring at a rainbow and hoping for the rain to stop. Good luck. Mind you, I think if I remember correctly, the rainbow comes out after the rain quits. But you're not looking at, do not worry about where it comes from. Okay. Look at and concern yourself with focusing on just the aspect of healing it. Your body has the answer. Okay. Now, I will tell you, and I've told people this before, when I snap my arm, and I'm not about to get close enough, I've got a scar from there to there, okay, where they had to open it up and bolt my arm back together. Well, plate it back together. Okay. Now, the reality is doctors work. Okay. This is excellent, YJ. It'll be, from my standpoint, I'd love to hear that it works. Am I going to guarantee it will work for everybody? Heck, I'm not going to guarantee it works for anybody. Okay. Hey, Greg, how you doing? And please do say hi to Janine as well. That would be appreciated. Okay. You're not looking for the cause of whatever illness you're dealing with. Okay. We are talking about a cure for what you're dealing with. Okay. Now, doctors will tell you, oh, this will cure it if you keep on this medication for the rest of your life. I'm talking about a genetic rewrite, so you don't have to deal with it. Okay. If you're enjoying dealing with it, hey, have a happy, carry on. Okay. They tell you, I was told, you become an alcoholic, you're going to be an alcoholic for life. So, and I do recommend, if you're having trouble with a drinking problem, I know a lot of people that have no problem drinking. You put a drink in front of them, they'll just carry on drinking. Except for one case in particular where he really had a drinking problem. And that was just water. He just couldn't hit his mouth. But I'll tell you, he got a really wet shirt when he did it. But we are not talking about identifying causes. We are talking about curing the problem and letting the symptoms identify whether it is being cured. Okay. Now, where it comes to fibromyalgia, do not worry about what caused it. It's a great idea to go, oh, this is what caused it. You feel any better? Probably not. And if you go to the doctor, they'll say, well, we don't know it's not a question if they go, we don't know what causes it. It's like doctors go, oh, we have to be politically correct. It could be this or this or this or this. Okay. So it's got to be one of these. They forget about that one over there. Okay. These are the ones they've identified sometimes cause it. Okay. Well, it might be caused by this. It might be hereditary. It may be circumstantial. It may be environmental. Oops. It may be predisposition due to coming in with the intention on a spiritual level of experiencing it. YJ's just saying, I also refuse to let it get to me psychologically. I just take it and take it day by day. And whatever I can accomplish, I'm grateful. That's where you have to start. Okay. You've got to start on the short side of it. And it falls under the same category as everything else. One step at a time. You take care of the little bits and pieces, the big things will go away. Okay. There's an African proverb that says, that says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that is exactly what we're talking about. Okay, a genetic rewrite is possible for every conscious, corporeal, and incorporeal entity. Apparently, speaking is not going to be my friend today. Okay, which is why I took to reading. And how's that worked? Not well, in my opinion, but then I'm a bit of a fussy individual. We are not talking about finding the cause of the problems you're dealing with. Okay, now that's that one. Okay, that's how you deal with things like your fibromyalgia. Okay, like there's a whole pile of illnesses. I did the same thing with the young lass that suffered from lupus. Okay, again, its symptoms are extremely varied. We did the same thing with her. Okay, net result was when I met this young lass, she was 13 years old. She had just turned 14 and had been told she had lupus. She would be dead in 2 years. My first comment was, how about if we screw up the doctors? And that is the whole kicker to it right there. YJ's just going, it takes 7 years to replace most cells in the body with new ones. Absolutely. Now, each organ will regenerate and will replace at a different rate. But since they have the perfect blueprint, you got to get away from the idea that you have to suffer for the rest of your life. Oh my gosh, you've got fibromyalgia. You're going to suffer for the rest of your life, and it's just going to get worse. I'm a doctor, so I'm going to tell you, you're going to get worse. I'm taught to help you heal. What's the first words out of my mouth? Get used to it. You're going to suffer. Okay. YJ's just gone, if you could reprogram your genetics, I feel like it would gradually get better over those 7 years till you reach 100%. That's only 3.5 years, still 50%, and that's pretty good. And that's the whole kicker to it. There's only one catch to that, YJ. Take that word if, change it. Eliminate it from your thinking process where it comes to healing. And alter that to say, when. Okay, when I reprogram my genetics. Okay, this is why I'm actually breathing today. Okay, have I completely cured things? No. But then I'm not perfect. I'm pretty good at getting myself into a mess. Okay, am I perfect at it? No, I seem to keep leaving loopholes. But where it comes to, and I do want to get to a couple of other things as well, but they all apply the same way. Okay, if you hang on to that concept that you're going to suffer from fibromyalgia or whatever for the rest of your life, well, you're likely to. Okay, that's just the reality behind it. So here's the first thing, and I keep telling people this. Okay, this funny little sign here. This is the backbone to healing. Deciding that fits. Okay, now this was done the old-fashioned way. There's all these tools out there that you can use. Okay, there's word-burning kits and everything else. I tell you, I used a magnifying lens, this wood, and the sun. Okay, again, it took time. I really do have to finish topping that up this year, so I better make a point of that. I live right across the street from the park. Okay, but you're not looking for the cause. Okay, I mean, let's face it. What difference does it really make? Ultimately, yes, YJ, that is exactly what we're referring to. Remember, the human brain was patterned on the computer was patterned after the operation of the human brain. Okay. Oh, I don't have my phone in here. this neat little thing. Okay, this is technology. Now, and yes, this is old technology at this point. See that funny panel there? It's called solar panel. Some of you guys remember this. This computer does phenomenal things. But the computer that they used when they were first built was a full city block to do basic addition. Okay. This does it in a heartbeat. But recoding your brain is done essentially the same way. You're looking at the programming that you've got, and the programming you've got, okay, comes from what you've been listening to. It comes from somebody constantly telling you you're going to suffer for the rest of your life. Now you can attribute that to your education, to your parental upbringing, to whatever spiritual guidelines you're standing on that you're following. Okay, do exactly what I say or you will suffer. No, doesn't work that way. I will tell you the methods I'm talking about are what I used to heal some of my problems. Okay, now I did find an absolute cure that I absolutely recommend nobody that has epilepsy does. See, I was diagnosed as an epileptic when I was a kid. I did find an absolute cure for it. Do not do this. Okay, I had a fatal seizure. Okay, worked like a charm. They brought me, they restarted my heart. They used paddles to bring me back. Once they brought me back, I didn't have epilepsy. This is a bad method. Worked like a charm, but I do not recommend it. Where we are told, like I said, I took nerve damage when I was I'd be in my early 20s, really late teens, early 20s. And I stuck my hand all the way to there in 198 degrees of water and fried all the nerves in the end of it, where I could not feel temperature at all. Okay, it took me 7 years to heal the nerve damage, so now I can feel things. Rest assured, there were times when not being able to feel it would have been beneficial. Okay, but you start looking at it very simply. Okay, your body can be healed. You just have to let go of the idea that you have to know the cause. Okay, what brought it to the state it's in is not a relevant concern at this point. Okay, now that's with fibromyalgia. This is where you start, and you work on it until you get to the entire body. Okay, clearly target the place that is hurting. Frankly, you target the part in your body that hurts the least, because the smaller the problem, the easier it is to see a change. Okay, and once you get that one area taken care of, now you've got that much more energy and that much more focus to focus on the rest of the problem. Okay, my dad used to say, where it came to finances, take care of the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. Okay, and it really does work that way. Now, where it comes to, and we're going to shift gears here, and absolutely, if you've got questions on fibro, absolutely ask. But like I said, put the questions in all caps so I can actually catch them. Okay, otherwise I end up missing them. And then I don't answer the question you're aiming for. Okay, where it comes to alcoholism, this is an even easier cure. Okay, and I do mean cure. Okay, I know it works because this one I have handed to so many people over the years that have implemented it. Now, in my case, I just went, I'm done. I am rather unique in that, I'm rather rare in that capacity. Where it comes to alcoholism, drug addiction, a sex addict, a food addict, whatever, the key being addiction. Okay, take a recording device, whatever recording device you feel is necessary, whatever recording device you've got. be it a cell phone that records, be it a tape recorder, be it any number of things. I don't know the technologies that are used. Find something that you can record it on. Pick whatever addiction it is you're aiming at breaking. Okay. And you literally record in your own voice. And we'll deal with alcohol to start with. Okay. But understand, this is interchangeable with anything: cocaine, marijuana, sex. Okay. If you feel you're sleeping too much or eating too much, okay. Where it comes to alcohol, you literally, in your own voice, for a half hour solid, this is the boring part. You sit there and you record in your own voice, I no longer desire to drink alcohol. Okay, I no longer desire to drink alcohol. And you repeat that slowly, clearly for a half hour solid. Once you've done that, as you're ready, every night from that point forward, when you've done everything, you're ready to go to bed. Okay, you turn that recording on loop if you've got it. If you don't, just run it the once. Okay, you turn down low. And when I say you're ready for bed, you're done playing around, you're done reading, you're done movies, you're ready to roll over and go to sleep. Hit the button and turn it on. Okay, and let it run. It will target your subconscious. Now, here's the thing. The two most common times, the two most effective times to reprogram your brain is right as you're waking up or right as you're going to sleep. Okay, now clearly, if you're trying to turn it on just as you're waking up, I think it's clear, you have to be somewhat awake in order to find the button to turn it on. And by the way, for those of you suffering from fibromyalgia, this same thing works. Okay, you literally tell yourself, do the same recording. My fibromyalgia is healed. Okay, I have healed my fibromyalgia. You repeat that for a half hour solid. Okay, just as you're getting ready to go to bed. You've done everything, you're ready to go to sleep. Hit play and let the thing run. It will target your subconscious. Bingo. And I'm glad this is making sense to you, YJ, because quite frankly, I am a firm believer that that with this guideline, you can actually beat it yourself and really confuse the heck out of the doctors. Which, by the way, I like. It's one thing I do actually enjoy doing. It's confusing the daylights out of the doctors. Okay, something in your system, if you look at it in those terms, something in your system stinks. Time to clean the system out. Okay, now by using that recording, okay, average time 21 days. Okay, to break a habit or to make a habit. Okay, so you run that through your head. Where it comes to alcoholism, it won't stop you drinking overnight. But what'll happen is you run that every night and you'll go to reach for a beer and you'll go, I don't want one right now. So I'm just going to grab a drink of water. It'll just be what people seem to call an organic change, where you're no longer focusing on the alcohol. And then what ends up happening over time is all of a sudden that alcohol is an option, not an absolute drive. Same thing applies to, I've seen it apply. For me, I use the idea on both alcohol and cocaine. Alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, and beer. Okay. What do we got? Yep, and that would absolutely do it. I used to have, when I was still with my wife, we had that problem a number of times. Okay. But what happens with alcoholism is you just lose that desire or that drive to drink. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to enjoy a beer from once in a while. But when you go to a place like Alcoholics Anonymous, and if you're having trouble, AA is an excellent program to go and get that support, to go and get a crutch, if you will. Okay. But in my opinion, there's only two types of alcoholics. You're either an alcoholic or you're a recovered alcoholic. Okay. Now, what'll happen is the desire will go away and you'll eventually be able to sit down and go, yeah, I'd like to have a beer with a friend of mine. So I'm going to sit down and have a beer. Or they'll say, hey, you want a beer? And you'll look at them and go, no, I just don't feel like it today. Now getting rid of these kinds of addictions and these kind of foci, okay, is what this is all about. When we're talking about altering your brain chemistry, we are talking about you focusing on you and you healing you. Okay. Now that's where alcohol and drug comes in. Kimberly, in all fairness, you really can. Okay. And it's the exact same thing. Just be clear on what the various different hiccups are that you're aiming at breaking. Okay, that you're aiming at punching out of the way. What do we got here? Nathan is going, been listening, touching up paint on a Luke figure at the same time. Hey, I am the last person to tell you don't multitask. Yeah, I worked it out. As a matter of fact, where did my book go? Over there. Right there. I think it's in this one. Or I pulled it out. Nope, pulled it out. But, no, I'm the last person to tell you don't multitask. I don't even know what doing one thing at a time anymore is. Okay, but, oh yes, we did that. Anyway, yes, absolutely, Kimberly. If you've got more than one thing that you desire to break away from, okay, not the least of which is breaking away from procrastination. Okay, but before I get into that, I'm going to delay that. I'm going to procrastinate on that one just because I can. Okay, now let's target the idea of weight, because so many people I talk to, they go, I'm struggling with weight. I'd really like to lose weight. Well, let's get through the first step. Quit striving to lose weight. Psychologically speaking, humans are pre-programmed, or more to the point, are programmed as you get older. When you lose something, go find it. Now, the problem with weight is that most of the time, when you lose weight, okay, and you go and find it again, it usually comes back with company. So modify that to you're aiming to drop weight or you're aiming to discard it. Now, there's a lot of modern doctors out there that will say, hey, you've got to take this pill to help you drop X weight. It's a really good thought. Well, now we talked a little on the dark side, like he used a lot on black. And realistically, YJ, I'm the last person to tell you what art is good. If you desire to be an artist, work at it. Okay. Some people have a better talent than others. Other people, it really boils down to marketing, whether you're actually seen as an expert or seen as extremely good. Absolutely, you desire to be a painter, but I will caution you on one little detail. You've gone, I want to be a painter like my father before me, but he always did everything a little on the dark side. Here's an idea. Be a painter like you. As bright, as colorful, as realistic, or as abstract as you'd like. Be the best painter you can be in your eyes. Do not make the mistake of listening to people tell you, Oh, you can't do that. Okay, you're not good enough. I'm telling you, the painting I saw, I kid you not, somebody took an off-white canvas, standard painting canvas. They painted the whole thing in off-white. Okay, they put a baseboard wood frame around it. Okay, they hung a sign on it that titled the painting Whiteout. They sold the thing for $1 million. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at this going, that's insane. Okay. Yeah, pot's a gateway drug. I'm not entirely certain how it ever worked out to be a gateway drug, but I do remember one article in the Chicago Tribune about 5 years ago. It was absolutely hilarious. Okay, regarding the marijuana. I saw this article and it says massive rise in violent marijuana addicts. I'm sitting here going, how is that even possible? I know a lot of people that use marijuana in excess, and rest assured, violence is not high on their list. Okay, so when we are talking about weight, there's lots of modern doctors that will turn around and tell you, cutting back on how much you're eating and exercise will not bring the weight down. I got bad news for you. Maybe I'm a little twisted, but I cut down on the amount of food I was eating and I increased the amount of activity I was doing. It took me a year, but I'm down 50 pounds. Okay. But it started with the idea of my looking at my weight when I hit 246 and went, I am not breaking 250. Okay. There was my motivation. That was when my brain and my heart connected and went, we're not doing it. Okay. But I will tell you, it's simple math where it comes to dropping weight. Dropping weight is very, very simple to do. The concept is easy, but you're fighting your own will. And this is why it's imperative you do it for you. Okay. If you're putting fewer calories into your body than you're burning off, you're going to drop weight. Okay. Now remember, you didn't put on, hopefully, 50 pounds overnight. Some of you may have. I don't know. There's illnesses out there that are pretty screwy. Okay. You cut back on the amount of calories you're putting in, and you're going to end up burning it off. But you target, these pills that come out, they say, oh, take this pill, you can drop 40 pounds in a month. You probably can. I don't know. I'm not the doctor that looked into it. But you got to remember, all that waste product has to go through your kidneys, your bowels, your bladder. It's got to overtax those systems. And besides that, you drop 50 pounds in a month, drop 30 pounds in a month, you've got a staggering amount of excess skin left over. Okay. Now, with that in mind, okay, if you target, and this is what I targeted a pound to a pound and a half a week, as in 4 to 6 pounds a month, not 46 pounds in a month. Okay. But at 4 to 6 pounds in a month, I dropped the weight I had that I required. Now, am I perfect at it? Absolutely not. But it's not, you're not in a sprint to drop weight. Or if you are, you might find it actually easier. Let's face it, you go sprinting, you're going to drop weight faster. Okay. Now, weight itself is simple. It really boils down to seeing yourself as slender. And I realize, maybe you've got an extra 50 pounds on you. I know people that look at themselves and go, well, I'm 10 pounds overweight, I'm in trouble. 10 pounds you can fluctuate in a day and a half. Okay, simply by water retention. Okay. The neat part about it, okay, is where it comes to dropping weight. You target a month and a half to 2 pounds, or a pound and a half to 2 pounds a week. You're looking at quite literally 6 to 8 pounds a month. Now, this means if you simply cut back on the amount of food you're eating, instead of eating an entire pizza, sit down and eat a half a pizza. Okay. I'm not talking about massive change in diet. Okay. Do look at the things if you're having trouble. Like one thing I found, and it was something that was really bizarre for me. Okay. I was suffering, my left leg, I finally noticed, was swelling up. So I went the normal route of going, ooh, maybe I've got a blood clot. Maybe. And people said, you got to get to a doctor. And I'm like, yeah, probably should, not going there. Okay. YJ's just saying, but it's amazing how art value is determined is determined. Usually things that have controversy and attention get the high dollar. Absolutely. But I will tell you this. The other thing that drives the value up is your belief and your ability to convey your belief. My problem is I end up, and I've got to figure out how to get around this. But here's a kicker for you. Okay. This neat little book. There are so many things I'm packing into this. Am I good at marketing? I'd love to say I'm fabulous at it. And in all fairness, I know a fair chunk about it. Problem is, I'm not good at self-motivation. Great at sitting down and writing for hours. But where it comes to your weight, one step at a time, a pound and a half to 2 pounds a week. That's it. You'll drop 6 to 8 pounds a month. Net result, if you do your math, if you're consistent at it, you'll drop your weight by, in 3 months, about 20 pounds. Okay. And this is just by cutting back on the amount of food that you're eating while still doing things that are necessary. Okay. A great substitute for food, if you're aiming at keeping your stomach full, okay, is water. Water is great. Well, I hate the flavor of water, but water, add a little lemon to it, cures that. Celery, some people like watermelon. Of course, we're getting back into spring here. Anything that doesn't have a lot of bulk to it, but fills the stomach, will help with the weight drop and the hydration at the same time. The one thing that surprised the daylights out of me was when I found out that if your electrolytic balance is out, and you get to do your own research on that one. Okay. If your electrolytic balance is out, you may end up holding weight, you may be holding water, you may end up with your energy levels down, etc., etc. Okay. But this is just one of those things that you can override and drop. But it's up to you to do the work. And I will tell you, most of the time, if a doctor or anybody says you got to do this or your health is going to suffer, most people, that won't work as a good enough motivation. Even if it happens to be a loved one telling you, we don't want to lose you because, you're overweight, you're going to end up dying. Okay. I got news for you. You're all going to end up dying. Now, these are just a couple of the things. Now, here's the other one. Okay. And again, this boils down to figure, I don't bother with this idea of just how do you cope? How you cope, there's all kinds of ways of coping. Oh, the one thing with alcohol. Okay. People say, I drink to cope with the stress. You're not going to cope with the stress well by drinking, because what alcohol does is it knocks out your trained and learned inhibitors. Okay, meaning it knocks out your coping mechanism. Okay, and that's just the reality behind it. And again, don't just take my word for it, whatever you do. Okay, do your own research. Now, I can tell you, and I'm not about to prove it because I'm not going back to try and track down the people who used to serve me alcohol every day. Okay, I will tell you, I used to kill a 26er a night. I wouldn't even blink. Okay, now I've got, I think, about 30 ounces of alcohol still in my back room because I only drink about 3 ounces a year now. Okay, because I came to the understanding that I had no real functional use for it. Where it comes to depression, again, this is a case of rewriting your brain. Okay, now the easiest trick in the book, okay, that I found for dealing with for actually curing depression, okay, for most people. Okay, now I've got a weird brain, it doesn't exactly work. Okay, but understand, I was gifted, cursed, take your pick, with the ability to see the positive, the negative, and the neutral all simultaneously. Most people are trapped in one or the other. Okay, one or the other, I don't know, something like that. But a way to deal with to alter your brain chemistry to deal with depression is not alcohol, it is not drugs. They help you cope by numbing you, except alcohol as an added bonus of destroying other aspects of your life. Quite often, most of it. Find the fastest dance-paced music you can find. Okay, as in really fast-paced. You crank it as high as socially acceptable, and you run it in the background. The alteration in the vibratory impact will bring your mood up. It's a natural side effect. Okay, it's simply an enhancement on the idea of put a smile on your face. The actual physical act of putting a smile on your face will alter your mood. Okay, because it releases endorphins, which are directly responsible for bringing your mood up on track. Okay, these are just some of the things that you can do, but you find the fastest dance-based music, but make certain when you're dealing with music, you find the stuff that is uplifting, not I beat my dog, I shot my wife, and I ran over the neighbor's kid. This is not dance music. Okay, this is a great way to program yourself into a deep depression. It's the same concept as going and sitting down and listening for hours to somebody, or even an hour a week, where somebody stands in front of a mass of people and says, by the way, the end days are here. You're going to suffer. We're going to suffer from famine. We're going to suffer from food shortages, housing shortages. There's going to be war. There's going to be chaos. We can go on. To what end? How about doing the other thing? There's going to be peace. There's going to be acceptance. Greed's going to go the way of the dodo bird. It doesn't go away overnight. We are talking about things mankind has been promoting: war, greed, and degradation for centuries. That's great, Shadow. In all fairness, I don't know much about the blue oyster cult. I know the name, and that's pretty much where it ended. But then, as I've mentioned to you guys, my focus has primarily been on country. But I absolutely do prefer the faster country. Okay, that doesn't make Blue Oyster or anything else a bad type of music. The only music that I consider bad, personally, is death metal. Of course, I got a reason for it. I walked in front of a speaker, in front of a music speaker. They were playing death metal. Right? I'm going to walk by it, and they hit a note, and it's like, bang, heart stopped. Right? Well, I don't like that kind of a feeling. Heart attacks are painful. Okay, they're but they are a good showstopper. But I like the knee going more than I like the heart attack going. But you run fast-paced music in the background as high as socially acceptable. And for pity's sakes, guys, get your earphones off. Don't worry about whether the neighbors can hear it. It won't hurt them. Okay. I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Mac. The reality of it is, yeah, the thing I found with water is the rain. If you take a jug of water, okay, just pour the jug of water, leave it sit on the counter for an hour. I personally leave it sit in the fridge for an hour, okay, but an open jug, not a sealed jug, because if you leave an open jug of water in the fridge, number one, it'll cool it down. Number two, the chlorine bleeds out of it. Chlorine is gas. Well, on the plus side, I recognize two of those. you know, just to be clear there, YJ. I mean, when I was living in the bar, you know, I don't even remember half of the artists. I remember some of the songs. What it boils down to for me is I know what I like the feel of. Okay, it's that simple. But I've always had a simple set of rules. If it's got words, I have to be able to understand what they are. If it doesn't, then it's got to be low enough that I can talk when I can hear it, but carry on a conversation. Now, depression itself is a state of mind usually brought about by a lack of self-control, by a lack of feeling it. Okay, being a lack of feeling in control. Again, depression is a dis-ease. And the happier you can help yourself feel, the easier it is for you to heal. Okay. Now I get a kick out of it. People like you take a look at this. Yeah, it probably needs combing. As a matter of fact, it definitely needs combing. But the color on it, I got my first gray hair when I was 16. And I was a late bloomer. My dad got it when he was 14. But these are things that can be overridden. Arthritis is the other neat little thing. Now here's a neat little, and again, this is a coping mechanism if you're dealing with arthritis. Okay, my dad was a type 2 diabetic. Okay, and had severe arthritis in his hands. He was also a sheet metal worker. But by using 1 teaspoon of unpasteurized honey a day, he was able to work in his profession until he was 80. Okay. But you got to make sure when you do that you're using unpasteurized honey. Pasteurized honey is great for flavor, okay, but totally useless for medicinal purposes. What do we got here? I haven't even heard the name Robert Plant in years. But, when you're looking at arthritis, again, this idea of focusing on where the pain is and concentrating on that location and literally telling yourself, heal, okay, it literally will trigger the body to actually heal. You don't have to know what caused it. You don't have to have a specific term of, oh, I've got this type of arthritis, or it was caused by this. Okay. And yes, I realize some of you have ended up with arthritis because of accidents. Okay. I ended up tearing my leg apart. I was fortunate. I never developed arthritis. Okay. I never developed a lot of things like tolerance for stupidity, an acceptance of you can't do that. It was funny, when I was a kid from age 6 to 17, every week, my dad was the superintendent of Sunday schools. And every week, every Sunday, we'd all sit down in the church before we started class. And he would have all of us recite together a simple poem called Can't. Look it up on the internet. I will tell you what you won't find in all likelihood on the internet is what my dad told me. But the pertinent phrase in that poem is can't is a word that is foe to ambition. Now, I don't recall the rest of the poem at all. Okay, somewhere in my collection I've got it. Okay, but that being said, okay, that phrase we said every week, okay, every week without fail, and it sunk in. So I came to understand that there is very little on this planet that you cannot do. There's a lot I recommend you don't do. Okay, personally, you're not going to talk me into going skydiving. I never saw the purpose in getting out of a perfectly good aircraft. But where it comes to your arthritis, focus on the small areas first. If you've got it in your hands, okay, again, focus on one finger at a time. Ken, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You focus on one finger at a time until you can actually get it to move. And again, if your hand isn't working right, okay, don't worry about being able to do that. Worry about being able to do just that little bit. Just that bit with one finger or the other. I'll tell you, it's easier with your index than it is with the ring finger, with the pinky. But you pick one finger and get it moving. And you may only feel a little bit of tension. Okay. Now there are tools out there. There are there are biofeedback tools that you can get a hold of. I don't know much about them. Okay, but I know they exist. But you look at your hand. If your hand is really crippled from arthritis, okay, or your back is, you literally work at it just a little at a time. Now, do understand something very important here. There is a term that goes, no pain, no gain. This is a crock. Okay. This is absolute hogwash. Pain is your body's way of telling you you're pushing too far. This doesn't mean if you're in a little bit of pain, don't do that. Because I will tell you it goes the other way too. But if your hands are already seized up, okay, focus on moving them just a little at a time. Okay. It is literally and you keep that word running through your head. Heal. Now, I've mentioned this part, and this applies to all of it. Okay. Take your hands, put them together, a quarter inch, half an inch apart. I have no idea how far apart that is. Okay. But so they don't actually touch. You'll feel the energy between them. You focus on that energy. Okay. And you run one word through your head. Heal. Do not worry about what you're aiming at healing. This particular technique just is a blanket. Let's do a complete healing job and be done with it. Okay. By doing that, you will accelerate your body's ability to compensate and to repair the damage that has already been done. Okay. Now, let's take a look at the other thing. And again, I am no dietitian. I am no scientist per se. Okay, I actually got told one day, and they were right. My past life, I was a rocket scientist in Atlantis. That was a lot of fun until it blew up, until we had the accident. Scratch that, it wasn't an accident. But where it comes to putting your body back together, okay, you take those hands, you put them together, and you focus on the word heal while you feel that energy running back and forth between your hands. This will enhance the body's ability and its focus on putting your body back together. Now, this is done, like I said, in conjunction with modern medicine, with naturopathic approaches, with ancient techniques, whatever you're using. This is in conjunction with it. It is not a replacement. And for pity's sakes, if you're on a medication already to deal with something, the best thing I can tell you is if you're on it, stay on it. It is wise. Okay. it is wise, if you're on a medication to cope with something, to go, regardless of what the medication is, go and talk to the pharmacist. And because they're the ones that are theoretically educated, ask them what the side effects likely are, especially if you're on more than one medication. Okay, you ask your pharmacist what the cross current is, what the effect is of this medication with that one. I'm no pharmacist. I cannot tell you what it is, but I can tell you that most of the time, people seem, from the people I've talked to, most of the time people get on multiple medications. You know, you've got this medication, you've got that one, but they have a cross current. You know, they have an interaction, so I'll put you on a third one to deal with this side effect. I'm telling you, I haven't used medication in years. I had a massive heart attack back in 2013. Okay, don't honestly remember the day, but I know it was 2013. You know, when I had the heart attack, I was a really neat shade of gray. It was great. Doctors thought I looked like a corpse and pretty much figured I was going to be one. Okay, they put me on a bunch of medications, or more to the point, they gave me a prescription for a bunch of medications. I looked at them and went, not taking them. To this day, I'm not on medication. Okay. Technically, YJ, it is. Okay. Arthritis, your body does have a propensity for it. Okay. But this makes it no less incurable. Or no less curable, rather. Okay. It boils down to you understanding that you don't actually have to maintain your connection to that arthritis. But that's up to you. You know, if you're enjoying the arthritis, hey, have a happy. Who am I to say what you're going to enjoy? Okay. You know, I mean, they also tell me that insanity is hereditary. Apparently, you get insanity from your kids. But I'm lucky. My shrink told me I'm perfectly sane. You know, these are just techniques that once you understand and once you accept the fact, you don't have to know what is wrong. You simply have to know that you're not content with that being wrong. Okay, you've got the capacity. Arthritis is painful. I know this from the number of people I've talked to and the number of friends that I've got that have arthritis. But they were told the same thing. As you get older, you're going to get arthritis. Way to focus on the health, Doc. You are going to successfully develop something that's totally debilitating. Oh, another tool that I found where it comes to things like Alzheimer's, Alzheimer's and dementia and that sort of thing. And it's not too late, regardless how you're feeling. Find a second language and learn a second language. It accesses a different part of your brain and gives your brain something to focus on to ward off or to compensate for collapsing cells. And yes, as you use your brain, you do burn out cells. And I'm not talking about using drugs to burn them out. That's just an accelerator. Okay, but you learn a new language, and it will help keep your brain active. Okay, this is one of the things I think that's got me writing as much as I am. Let's see, where did I put the list? That list with me. I took it in this, I thought. No, I already looked in that once. Don't know what I did with it, so it must be, at least I'm hoping it's up front. Oh, wait a minute, that should be it. Yeah. This neat little page, okay, has on it 14, 26, 27, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2. That's 36 books that are listed here. Okay, and no, I don't expect you to read it. Okay, terrible handwriting anyway. Maybe I should have been a doctor. But, oh, that's right, I am a doctor of metaphysics. Oh, sure I will. I'll eventually die. It's like I told my other half. The reality is I will one day die. But I appreciate that there, YJ. It's funny. They told me when I was a kid, I was told I was mentally retarded. That I would never, that I should have never hit the honor roll. Well, I confused everybody. I graduated on the honor roll. Shadow goes, now we got to read too? Sheesh. What is this Saturday school? Oh, I don't know if you were informed when you were a kid there, and if you were informed when you were a kid there, Shadow. I was always told, my father drilled it into our head metaphorically. Picture doing that literally, and all of a sudden you got a lot of blood all over the place. But we were told it's a bad day if you don't learn something new. Okay. And I will tell you, I finally made a decision, which is really rare for me to make a decision, period. But where it comes to actually changing the way your life is, first rule of thumb, you got to decide what you're content with, or more importantly, what you're not content with. Yeah. See, I did really good in college. I failed miserably, but I will tell you, my fourth term in college when I was taking business administration, I became extremely versed at high-speed ping pong. We had a ping pong table out in the lobby. Worked like a charm. Didn't help me with my studies in the least. But boy, did I get good at ping pong. Now I don't even know if I can see a ping pong ball if I take my glasses off at the other end of a ping pong table. But, they tell you as you get older, I was told as you get older, it's harder to learn. This is absolutely false. Okay, what we get as we get older is over inundated with what you can't do. Okay, and I will tell you, if you go back into my old videos, I did a small series. I'm really going to get doing a couple of them again. Okay, on language. Can't being one of the ones I did. Go back to my old videos and take a peek at it. It'd be about 2 years ago now when I did that, when I was just doing the videos. I wasn't doing the live cast. Okay, but everything in your life, your health, your finances, all of it, you've got dominant control over, and you can absolutely change it. Now, with that in mind, understanding I am by no means a multimillionaire. I am not about to sit here and tell you that, that I can give you the key to making thousands of dollars every day for the rest of your life. I'm not going to do it. Because I'm a firm believer that the moment you start peddling shovelfuls like that, the only person making money is the one shoveling the load. Okay, but I will tell you that, again, one step at a time. Maybe your stress is being caused by finance. Okay. And again, I have never been trained in financial management, ever. Okay. But I was taught, well, that's not entirely correct. In school, I majored in business and English. Okay. That was where my primary courses were. Shadow, thank you so much for joining us. And have a great show tonight. I got to figure out what I'm up to here. But do enjoy yourself. Tomorrow's Sunday. I'll be back on again tomorrow, obviously. But enjoy your game. Oh, well, actually, in your case, show. What do we got here? You got to go through hair and makeup. I was thinking of going through hair and makeup and then decided it doesn't matter that much to me. I did, in case you hadn't noticed, I did pick myself up a new shirt. Actually, I picked up 2. Told you I was going to, so I did. The thing is, you have to take a look at where your life is, and are you content with it? But healing starts up here. Once you get the thought that you'd like to do and you get that heart connection, that you desire to change the way your life is, this is where the healing starts. Now, considering I've seen people by pure belief, by pure self-focused healing, beat cancer, and I mean beat it. I mean, take it, override it, and leave. Okay. My own father-in-law, I went and reminded his body how to heal. He was in a coma for 6 weeks. Okay. And I worked on him for about an hour, hour and a half while he was in a coma. The following day, the man wakes up. Okay. Doctors had called everybody in and said, say your goodbyes, he's done. His wife, my mother-in-law at the time, come to me and goes, look, I understand you can do something and do things a little differently, and that you might be able to help my husband. She goes, I'm not ready to bury my husband yet. Can you do something? I looked at her and I says, I'm not going to guarantee it. I will go in and do what I can. Right. But I said, ultimately, it's up to him. So I went in, worked on him for an hour, hour and a half. He woke up the next morning. Well, just about the afternoon. It was about 11 o'clock. All of a sudden, his eyes pop open. He sits up. He goes, I'm hungry. The one thing he lost was he didn't realize he'd been in a coma for 6 weeks. Okay. But did he eventually die? Yeah. They had said he's got this small cell rapid spraying lung cancer. He's going to be dead. Well, he did die after we got him up. He died 17 years later. Okay. Which was that, he was bound to die anyway. So I mean, from that standpoint, we're looking at a situation of all damage can be healed. And this is a thing you got to realize. You've got the power in your own body to actually rebuild anything that's been damaged. Your body, your cells have the blueprint, but you've got to be willing to access it. And again, doesn't matter what the illness, doesn't matter how advanced it is done. You do this in conjunction with whatever medications, whatever techniques you're using. This is in conjunction with, not a replacement for. Okay. Just a suggestion there, Ken. Do yourself a favor. Don't try it. Do it. See, and again, this is a mindset thing. Okay. Where it comes to arthritis, or anything else. When you go to try something, what you're doing is you're telling yourself, I'm going to give this a shot, but there is a possibility and therefore a reality that it will not succeed. When you go, I'm going to do this, or I'm doing this, what you're saying is, I've already succeeded. It's a mindset thing, and your brain will work with it. Okay. But it will take time. I have no doubt about this at all. But where it comes to the arthritis, okay, double check 2 things. If you can get a hold of unpasteurized honey and make sure it's unpasteurized, a simple teaspoon a day is all my dad used, and he was a type 2 diabetic. Okay. And make sure your electrolytes are in balance. Okay. And then, talk to your local pharmacist to find out what electrolytic balance is best. Okay, I know there's foods out there you can do it with. I'm just not a nutritionist. So I still go the route of certain things. Okay, I keep getting told I should go and talk to the doctor. I'm like, I'm not worried how she's feeling. Except for the fact that apparently she could be nearing retirement. So I really should get my medical records just in case they become an issue. Oh, that's fantastic, Adam. From your standpoint, I'll tell you, don't go to the grocery store. Go straight to the farm. And the reason I say that is because that will help them far more directly than the pocket change they get of what they're selling. Okay. Yeah, no doubt there, YJ. I never even thought of that. But yes, the honey, because it's got natural antigens in it, it will help with the allergies at the same time. Okay. The reason I say if you've got access to a farm, same as if you've got access to a dairy farm where they're able to sell. Okay. Go deal directly with them. Because think of it this way. If you go to the store and buy it, the honey farm sells the honey to the farm and to the store. They pay they pay the honey farm a smaller amount. Then they jack the price and you pay the jack price, so the store gets it. If you go straight to the honey farm, what you've done is got direct access to it. And the honey farm, the farmer, they and I forget the name of the term. Okay, whatever the term is for the honey farmer. Okay, you go to them, they get 100% of the profit. They get the benefit, and it really bolsters the economy in the area. Okay, but yeah, like I said there, Cam, where it comes to the fingers, just a reminder, whichever one you can move doesn't matter. That's the thing. The apiary is what the bees are raised in. Okay. That's the building that the bees are stuck in, also known as a man-made hive. I know that because I play Skyrim. That's an excellent idea there, YJ. It's an absolutely fantastic idea. I think back to a past life, and I used to do the same thing. I'd pick up a piece of property because I didn't agree with the witch hunts. So I picked up a piece of property, and then I'd take the witches I knew were decent people and put them on my property. It was great. And all they had to do is take care of their little area. No, that is an excellent way. It becomes, that's what barter used to be. I'll let you live here, you give me this, and we'll call it even. Because you got to pay the rent anyway. So, they're already there. What the heck? But whatever you're aiming at, whatever you're striving to turn around in your own life, this is the time to really focus on it. Now is when we start acting. You do not worry about what you went through to get here. But where it comes to the arthritis, like I said, Ken, pick a finger. Don't worry about the whole hand to start with. Pick one finger. Okay. Maybe you want to work with the thumb so you can give people a thumbs up when it works right. Maybe you want to work with the middle finger. See, I can't even put the middle finger up. At least not with the same effect. Because those two don't separate. This one's getting better. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Yeah. Let's face it. The bees do that quite nicely. And they're not even fussy about it. They aren't picky individuals. They'll go to every flower you've got. Okay. But the thing is, and this is again, this issue of we get the communication between people, and all of a sudden you get this radiating impact of positive energy that can change the very way that this world is working. But it is up to us as a community. In this case, we'll look at this chat room. Okay. And yeah, I did come to the conclusion, like I said, I was going through some complications the other day. Actually went through a lot of them and sorted part of it out today. No, YJ, they definitely came in. Definite from my standpoint. They are an evolutionary thing. They evolved here. Okay. The reality is 99% of what's on this planet evolved here. Okay. The ETs are not responsible for populating this planet aside from when the bodies were first built. Okay. And the reason I say that is because before, and I'm talking way before man got here. Okay. Way before man got here, there was another race, but before that other race got here, okay, it was spirits, and a race that was not from Earth originally, that built the planet, built the bodies to start with. Okay, but 99% of the animal life and the animal, vegetable, and mineral life evolved on Earth. Okay, and that's just the reality behind it. But again, the more in communication, the more in contact you are with nature. Something else that you will find works really nicely, Ken, and this works for anybody dealing with arthritis. Okay, by walking around in bare feet, given that you know the area you're walking in is safe to do so, connects you much more strongly with the ground, with the earth itself. Like, I'm in an apartment, okay, but our floor is concrete, which boils down to the same thing as liquid stone. Okay, so I spend most of my day in bare feet now. Okay, I was told to stay out of flat shoes because my knee would go backwards. Well, sadly, it still does. Yeah, I have no doubt it did. Um, I'm not going to argue the point about what you read. I will tell you that is not the way I understand it. Okay, the Anunnaki, much as they were here, okay, the basic way that the planet evolved was not at the hands of off-worlders. Okay, now I may be the only one that sees it this way. I don't know. I'm still working on that. And I'm not debating what it says on the tablets. Okay, I will tell you that my own belief, and this is where I run into a problem, because I can't prove what I've been seeing. But I will tell you that if we continue to look off-world for the cause of everything, whether it's beneficial or not, and we start giving credit to everybody except the planet itself and the peoples on this planet, we're going to have a hard time reclaiming control over our own life. Okay. Now, I'm not debating what the tablets say, but I will tell you, like with the Egyptian hieroglyphs, they aren't just a language. They're a complete computer program. Okay. And the energy that runs through them is not just in linguistic form. Okay. But when we take a look at all this, everything is connected. There is no question in my mind there at all. Okay. But, from my standpoint, do I feel the thing with humans is the original race that was here before them did actually tinker with chimpanzees in order to accelerate, not combine, not alter, but simply accelerate what was already there. Okay. To net result, we end up with a very definitive link between chimpanzees and modern man. I still think the chimpanzees are smarter in a lot of ways. Yeah, an awful pile does. I mean, I could go into that in a whole lot of things there, YJ. The one thing that we have to look at is first and foremost, you as an individual, all of you as individuals, have got to accept the fact that you have dominant control over your life. You've got the ability to change the path your life is following, but it is entirely up to you as to whether you're going to access that. Now, with that in mind, okay, we're hitting the 2-hour mark here. So I do want to say thank you so much, people, for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. Okay, I will be back again tomorrow, but not like I've got a game tomorrow, so that's another issue. But I really do appreciate your sharing your time with me. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow because I haven't figured that out yet. Working on it. But that said, until such time as we meet again, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive.